If I'm doing stuff, then I'm like, obviously my mind's occupied. But if I'm like, because I like walking my dog, I've got a dog, and I like walking her for like miles walks, and I find myself, the longer the walk goes, the more upset and the more like de-stressed I am. But through that period of like getting to being de-stressed, I'm crying, I'm angry, I'm like running, do you know what I mean? It takes a while to get to that. Thinking about it, like every situation that I go into, I try and be an alpha male, and I will fight to get to that position, no matter what, like whatever it is, just like, and I've realised that about myself. When now, I'm sort of more, I don't need to be that, I don't need to be there. I'm quite happy with myself being just there. Do you know what I mean? Taking each person for who they are, and stuff like that. That kind of sort of airy kind of thing. Yeah, like all that kind of stuff. Like, probably I couldn't handle it, to be honest. to be honest about it, I probably couldn't handle it. But now I'm up here, I have to handle it. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't man enough to handle it, and you probably just like carrying on like I was something else that I wasn't.
spent my younger days born and bred. I've spent most of my days in North Kenton. Moved away down to South Tyneside for a few years with family. Moved back up about 15 years ago. I've got 3 siblings. I've got 2 brothers and a sister. So I grew up with me big brother and my sister. Can't really remember them days. My dad as well. My mum separated from my dad. She remarried. She had a son, my little brother Gary. That's when we lived in South Tyneside. She then split up with her husband, my little brother's dad. Got back together with my dad, moved back up to Kenton. Dad was never really about, but I sort of grew up with them. Dad's a fucking mess. Was that just a cock up? I was too young to really understand when she married my little brother's dad. But I started to learn, obviously, because I went through a long period of time of not seeing my dad, and then they got back together, and I thought it was all great. I was still young when they got back together. I didn't really understand it. And growing up, they had quite a lot of domestics when I was growing up over the years, daily really. And looking back now, I just think she should have never really got back with him. Like, they separated again now, so, and that was like 2 years ago they separated, so, but for a long time she wasn't happy. We weren't really very happy. I didn't think my dad was happy. So it was all hard. Obviously my little brother got split up from his dad. He still had contact and stuff, but he had his dad's second name, whereas we all had the same second name. So it was obviously it was hard for him. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes when I used to argue with him, I used to make him feel bad about it, not really. Do you know what I mean? And then my big brother. I were close growing up. He became unwell when I was probably about 14. He was taking drugs a lot. He ended up getting sectioned. He's spent the last 10 years in and out of mental hospital and prison, back and forth. He was only just discharged this year. He was discharged from the medium secure hospital. We're just sort of starting to get that relationship back now. I find it hard, just for all the time we spent apart. We're not nowhere near as close as we used to be. I think he still likes to think we are, but obviously I've still got a lot of suppressed feelings really towards it, which I don't really speak to him about. Just the fact that he wasn't in. Obviously it felt like I'd lost him for all that time. Sure, I didn't really say we're being as close as we were, but we'll get on in that. But like, I didn't sort of respect him the way I used to, and not let him tell us what to do or out like that.
How much older was he then?
Aye. I used to look up to my big brother all the time. He was different. I used to always see him be just doing what I wanted to do, really. Setting trends, you know what I mean? And wearing the best, like the good clothes, but different stuff. Like he would bring stuff into fashion. He always, like he was working and that. I used to always see him have a pocket full of money, so we could do things. And I used to watch a lot of sports, and I used to box when I used to be an amateur boxer for quite some time. So really all my idols were like the heavyweight champs and stuff like that. When you're young, that's what it is. It's sport icons and stuff, really, more than people around you, I think. It's just the lifestyle, really. I was a bit of a naughty kid when I was growing up, so I was put in naughty classes, met naughty kids, went out, done naughty things, enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? Just petty things, some things more serious, but I think it's just from when you're young and you see people doing the same things like you're doing, even though some people may look at it as like you're stupid or I don't know, like chav or something like that people would associate my friends with. But I always looked at them as them were the kind of people that understood me, and like I thought, do you know what I mean? He's on my level, doing the same kind of things, and you just click, and you just grow up. norm, isn't it? People who don't get that circle, don't get that click, you don't really fit in. You don't really trust them, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't personally be horrible to people because they weren't on my level or anything like that. But I wouldn't. Like, I would always have that doubt when I don't understand it. So, do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna trust them. That was like me. That's like sort of. That's like how I sort of grew up with my mother, you know. Like I ended up getting kicked out at a young age, 16. I used to always end up finding myself back there when things went pear-shaped. I lived in different hostels, I crashed on friends, so and I used to always end up back on my mother's couch or back in the spare room, but it would never last because I would get on her nerves. I would do stuff to upset her unintentionally, but she just couldn't cope with us there full time. So we spent. Like when I was young, I'd move back out, and if I was just popping in once a week or something like that, we'd get on better, like really well, like how mother and son should really, do you know what I mean? But I started overstaying my welcome then, wouldn't work like that. Alright, I stay on the weekends, I try and get over there on a Saturday, that just makes me dinner and that, because she has like my sister and my brother and the grandparents and that, so I try and get it on a Saturday, and I'll stay there for a couple of hours on a Saturday, but other than that, sometimes even on a Saturday I can sometimes feel the tension, do you know what I mean? You can feel like, I'm not getting in the way a little bit or something, so I just stop her. But then she'll text if I haven't heard from her in a couple of days, she'll text us, you know, I haven't heard from you in a few days, are you alright? So we'll still keep in touch with text. But it's just I've got that personality where I must annoy her a bit. There's been times in I thought, I don't want to, do you know what I mean? But it's still my family at the end of the day, and plus I feel like sometimes if I distance myself, like when I've distanced myself in the past a few times, I thought I'll keep away so everyone's good. And then we start to get the odd texts and it's like everyone's sort of like, saying, well, why are you staying away? You're splitting the family up, do you know what I mean? Where you can't really win. But it's real, do you know what I mean? Like, if I had an argument with my brother, so then I don't go back to my ma's for weeks, my brother's still at my ma's, so he's thinking, well, why is Jason not coming over? The kids are probably thinking, why is Jason not here? My ma's watching, like, everyone be there for me, and she, do you know what I mean? All she's ever wanted for the last few years, she just wants all her kids in the same room getting on. So we try and do that for her. It works. It has its moments, obviously, it always does, but it works.
It's fear. It's a primal thing. It's a fear about not being the strongest, you know, the dominant male. It comes back to evolution. I mean, as advanced as we are, you know, with all our science and technology and medicine and all that sort of stuff, we are essentially just very clever apes. And there's always one ape who wants to be the big one. Happens in anything. There's always one that wants to be in charge. A dictatorship is equal, apart from the bloke in charge. It's about I'm a man, so I have to prove I'm a man by getting angry and by getting aggressive and being ignorant. If we were living in trees, that kind of behaviour would be natural, but it's not natural. I mean, there's one person I can't stand him. He terrifies me because he's a nutcase, and that, you know, I don't even know how to describe it. But I hate it when someone, I'm a man. I can kill 50 people with one punch, so, you know, and yeah. But a lot of people up here, especially, there's a few people I know, but you even look at them the wrong way, and they're like, yeah, what are you looking at, what are you staring at? And they start getting all shirty. But go away, grow up a few years, come back, and you'll realise I wasn't actually looking at you, I was looking behind you. Why are they so ignorant to the truth? And why are they so arrogant in their ignorance? You know, I'm white, I should be in... Why? Where does it say that? Just because white people make up about 60% of the population, where does it say you have to be in charge because you're white? It doesn't say it anywhere. Well, they say that evil begets evil, violence begets violence. Talk to someone. Or if you can't talk to them, just sit and listen. That's all you've got to do, is just sit and listen to somebody. If you take your average 15-year-old and sit down and say, what do you want to say? Not what do your mates want to say, not what do all your friends think, what do you think about? You'll probably get it'll probably be a lot more productive. But most the teenagers, treat them like teenagers. Treat them like people, you might get a bit more from them.
my other brothers and sisters lived 15 doors down with my mother and father. And I didn't move in with them until my grandparents died when I was 11. So there was like sort of hate-hate relationship between my brothers and sisters and me because I've been brought up differently. I went to Sunday school. I was taught respect and all that, and how to talk to people properly and all that. And listen to when they say something new and the way and how to think about a reply and all that. And if you've got nothing to say, you don't say anything. Or you say, sorry, but nothing comes to mind at the moment and all that. I'll think about what you've said and I'll get back to you. Brilliant. I've learned that from when I started to talk until I was 11. But I was also a very sickly child. That's why I never learned to read and write until I was 11. I was just laid up in bed all the time. No one reading the stories, because my grandparents didn't believe in the modern age storybooks. They believed in what the Bible said. And so when I was 11, and I went to school, I told the teacher that I hadn't been to school. And she asked why, so I told her, like, I've just told you. So she says, right, you don't start for 2 weeks. So come in here at 4 o'clock every evening, and I'll learn you how to read and write. I think back, well, what was I doing 10 years ago? What really was I feeling? And I go, yes, because I have loads of notebooks. Poundland's brilliant for it. You get thick notebooks like that. And they've got loads of stationery and pens and all that. And I'll just write everything down. Then when I look through it, I go, stupid. You know what? You've been there and there. That's nothing to worry about these days. Get a handle on that.
My mum and dad, my grandma, like I've all close families where like we all live together. My mum lives next door to my grandma, so they're dead close and stuff. She's always in and out of the house and stuff. And I've got all my friends who I've known for years and stuff. Just around the corner. Like. I went off school, like I went off the rails a bit when my dad like left and stuff because I was daddy's boy. Done everything for my dad and stuff. Then I went off the rails. Never went to school. Used to wag off, and I had to see the psychiatrist in the school and stuff, and because of my behaviour and stuff, and I just went basically off the tracks. I got kicked out and stuff. Got kicked out of my high school. I did. I had to go to this special school called Oakfield College. I did. And I think with the last year, I stayed in it with my last year for the school. Well, I went to prison when I was 15, so I went to school just before I got to prison, then I finished it. But I went to prison for the offence what I committed, like acting daft and stuff, showing off in front of my pals and stuff. Well, I was terrified when I went there. Didn't know nobody. It's a strange place and stuff. Like prison, I didn't like it at all. It's horrible it was. I realised too late what I've done and stuff. I wish I could have turned back the clock and just walked away. You know what I mean? But that was too late. That's my friend robbed him. I just punched him because he started trying to touch us. Like. I didn't really think because horrible it was, a big write-up in the papers and all that, every courtyard and all that, because it was one of the worst cases for our age at the time it was. I think it was horrible. We used to try and copy off all the older ones, the older lads. when we were younger, we used to try and copy off them. Now what them were done, get into trouble and stuff like that. But now we've realised now that we get near way, you know what I mean? So I was a mischief little thing. I was with control me when I was a band. Like I used to work people like all the time. I did with my pals, just showing off just for the frisk, trying to get like a laugh. But while working the wrong people, while working the people who were new and stuff, and half of them have passed away. God bless their souls now and all that. But do you think of them times though? What I used to put her through like things and all that. We used to high eggs out our windows and stones get chased. Now you realise and all that. What you've done to them people and all that, it's horrible. So I wouldn't like that to happen to myself when I'm older. And now the young ones these days, the high stuff off me and stuff, you know, I feel like I want to bite your tongue right away. It's horrible. Nah, that's not my job. They have like I got like a shout thing like I swear at them and stuff, but I just can't. I gone to the mothers. I just tell the mothers and fathers no what they. You know what I mean? Tell them to check them because I'm scared in case of a snap. But one of them, I could do some damage. I only had one punch last time. I was 15 at the time, and I nearly killed a man. Just for one stupid punch, I crippled a man for life, and I suffer with that as well. Do you know what I mean? I've made a poor man, like a cripple and stuff. He had a good job, affecting his family now and stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting down like this inside. You know what I mean? I'm waiting about. He takes mood swings and all that. He could lash out his bend, out at him and all these things. But I've damaged like someone's life. You know? And I wish I could take everything back. I'll tell them think before you do stuff. You know what I mean? Like things. Because the young ones these days, they don't think they can't do it and stuff, and then they suffer all the consequences when they get locked up and stuff, you know what I mean? They cry on and it's too late, you know what I mean? They need to think of things, you know what I mean? Think before they do it, you know what I mean? I was silly, just showing off, you know what I mean? I was like getting egged on and like that and stuff, and I didn't know, I like, could have hurt that man like that, you know what I mean? But I would tell him like just to walk away if you can, you know what I mean? If you can walk away, it's the best thing you can do is walk away. I wish I could have walked away that night. I got 3 years. My staff silly, you know what I mean? Thinking, oh yes, you know what I mean? Bang bang, next day the busy's at my door. Locked up for 4 days. Got jail 8 months later I did. Silly man. I locked everything out and stuff, mate. Like I locked all my feelings and all that. Hushed them all to one side. I could read it when I was with Ben and everything. When I realised I can't read now. I'm dyslexic. I don't know how I was a good reader and everything. I could do maths, I could do English and everything. I don't know how to do it. No, I've lost everything. And that's probably still there. I just need to active my brain probably. But my dad was everything to me. And that's still something to this day. I wish I could still have him in my life, but you know what I mean? So I always loved my father, and like he done wrong by like going behind my ma's back and stuff. But it takes two, doesn't it? Accidents happen in life. That happens to everyone, basically. I caught him. It was with my babysitter. She was babysitting with me. My ma comes in, and my ma goes to the toilet, and then I was tempted to be asleep and I looked and I see my dad keep mine on with that last, my babysitter, when my ma was on the toilet. Yeah. I told my ma like I got to hide and dead, like break the pieces off my father, like because he says he lied and all that. Then he ended up telling the truth a couple of days later and saying he was dead. So that's always on my mind and stuff it is, because it hurts that like days, because sometimes I wake up and all that, get nightmares and all that, like thing out there. I used to get nosebleeds at first and stuff now, like, I was dead nervous, I used to get nosebleeds and all that, proper, I didn't have your nerves can bring nosebleeds and all that on and stuff. But I used to suffer with them badly that day. I'm part of nervous because I thought I killed a man and stuff, and I destroyed someone's life. You know what I mean? He could have still been working, can't work now and stuff. And he had a wife, his 9-month-old daughter as well. You know what I mean? His daughter will be about 12 or 13 now, probably something like that. And them horrible people destroyed my dad's life, and you know what I mean. And I'm happy as a Larry. You know what I mean? I needed help because I was an angry man. I was lashing out. I was hitting my girlfriend and stuff, and I was coming in drunk and stuff. But the reason why I think because my girlfriend was accusing me all the time of cheating, and I'll be honest, I've never once cheated on a woman in my life. I was with her for 7 years, my ex-partner. I never once cheated, but she kept accusing me of cheating. So I used to just go out the house, go to the bar, get drunk, come in and just give her slaps and batter and all that, and I used to get locked up, arrested and stuff. But I got sick. I said to myself, I need help because I kill somebody or something, you know what I mean? I could take one slap or one punch, one knock to the heat out like that, you know what I mean? And I didn't want to hurt somebody who I love, you know what I mean? Because I lost my girlfriend, I've lost my son, and I'll always love my ex-partner, but I need my son in my life. I need to change for myself, and I need to be in my son's life. And if I don't change myself, I'm not going to get in my son's life. So I need to change for myself before being in my son's life. Yeah, I was born the day my granddad died.
The way I was brought up, and maybe yourself, you know, you treated people how you wanted to be treated yourself. If you want to be treated like crap, you treat people like crap, and you'll get it back. But kids these days, it's you must respect me. Why? You're 12. It's the other way around. You respect me. I'm your elder, as we're taught. Respect your elders. And I never thought I'd hear it, but I'm starting to sound like my dad. I never thought I'd say it. I'm starting to sound like my dad. It was kind of that old school community where everybody knew you know, and everybody knew everybody else. And they'd all been living there for 50 or 60 years, so, you know, there was a big old network of old people, or spies, as I used to call them. Because whatever I did, it always got back to my nan. It used to drive me mental. Yeah, but it was, you know, everybody knew everybody. You know, I mean, when I was a kid, to a point, your doors were still left open. You know, you could trust people, because you knew who they were, you knew where they're from. Where I'm actually from, the estate I lived on, it's nothing like what it used to be. It's really, really gone downhill. I mean, it was just a council estate, you know, there was nothing special about it, but it was a safe, clean council estate. Where I lived was quite close to local farmland, and, you know, there was some woods nearby and stuff like that, so we spent a lot of time up there, just building camps and, you know, that sort of stuff. And then as we grew up into teenagers, you know, we started drinking and stuff like that. And whatever else comes about, that happened. And we just used to get slaughtered, basically. Well, the rules are same as any other family. You know, my mum and dad set the rules. The classic, if you don't follow my rules, you don't live in my house, that kind of nonsense. But mostly, my dad didn't do a lot of disciplining. My mum did most of it. But then if my dad got involved, you know you'd done something wrong. Oh, yeah. No, he wasn't. He didn't really do that sort of thing. But a couple of things he said to me was, he goes, "You ever go to a pub?" He goes, "Always make sure you can get your own round in, right?" And he goes, "And if you meet somebody," he goes, "use your head, mate." He goes, "We don't want loads of screaming grandkids." Fair enough. That was about it. You know, the rest of the time, yeah, do what you like. As long as it doesn't affect us, we're not really bothered. When I was 5, my mum phoned my infant school and told the headmaster that if he needed to give me a smack, then he could. But the thing was, I was a very, very small child, and he was 6'5". Right. And he did smack me one day, and he repeatedly smacked me, and I've never forgotten it, and I never will. I had kids at school, and one of my kids came home and said that, I'd be straight back up to school. You hit my kid, I'll hit you. You know. The only person who disciplines my children is me. But it was a different time, you know. Teachers still kind of had that. They could kind of get away with it, but that rapidly died out. You know, at the end of the 80s, that was the end of that. But yeah, I remember that day, and it was the day one that I really remember is the day she said, "Oh yeah, I phoned him and said he could do it." Huh? Yeah, because I knew you were naughty at school, so I just phoned him and said, if you ever need to give him a smack, then just smack him. So he did. And I mean, I was 2.5 months premature, so I was a very, very small child. And I say he was 6'5", his hands were bigger than my head. And bang, just started slapping me. That hurt. But it was a different time, totally different time, you know. Back then, you know, you were scared of the police. If the police turned up, you either legged it or you got nicked, you know, you were arrested for something. Nowadays, they couldn't give a monkey's. Kids these days, they don't have any form of respect for anything, but they seem to they have no respect for anybody, but they seem to think that they deserve as much respect as you can possibly give them. Why do I need to respect a 13-year-old kid? Because he's got a knife in his hand. Never really noticed it down south, you know, but I've noticed it's a lot stronger in the north. I'm the bloke, you're the woman. You know, you stay at home cleaning and cooking, I go out and earn the money, or I go out and sign on, you know. But it's a lot more in your face up here. But there again, you know, 20 years ago, if you're a single mother, you know, you were kind of doomed. But now with like all the benefits and that, you can be a single mother quite happily. You know, you don't really need to have the father figure. And some of the people I know, it's probably a good idea if they don't have the father figure. But to me, what's the idea of being a man? Someone who can be responsible for their own actions. Somebody who understands and is not afraid to share their views about something, you know. Isn't basing everything on how aggressive they can be to get their point across, you know. Is willing to sit back, okay, let me hear your side of it. Okay, I've heard your point, I agree or I disagree, move on. Children's, you fucking, I don't fucking agree with you, blah. That's kids, that's idiots talking. But to me it's about, you know, if you've got kids, be the dad. Do what those kids need, just be your dad. You don't have to be Superman. My dad wasn't Superman, not by a long shot. In fact, he did very little, but he went to work every day, he made sure we had everything we needed, and he was a good laugh. Now, to me, that's what makes a man. It's not about and how much money you've got, and how many women you've slept with, and how many kids you've got around. It's not about that. Can you accept responsibility for your own life and say, I am who I am. This is me, this is my family. Fair play to you, mate. Enough respect.
Then to top it off, I got burgled twice in 1 week while I was at work. So if you imagine losing my daughter, my only daughter, a month later I lost my parents within a month of each other. A month after, I was over in Mallorca because the coroner, because she got decapitated. I spent 6 months over there arguing with them to get her body back over here. Wouldn't have it. Her mum was just a mess. So her husband, well, what can I say?
Bye.